Vide Ton Sac, the new podcast by Nightline France, which gives a voice to students. Welcome to episode 2 of the How Are You Vraiment podcast season here on Vide Ton Sac. Today, Bea from Nightline Paris Communications Team is interviewing Romane Villette, the Vice President and soon-to-be President of the Student Mental Health Association Open Mind SKEMA. Keep listening to find out more about this Paris-based association founded after current president Daphne Wagner was inspired by a similar association in Manchester, UK.
Hi Romane, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good, and you?
Good, thank you. Thanks so much for joining me today on our podcast. Could you just introduce yourself and let us know where you're from and what you're studying at the moment?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me here. It's a real pleasure. So my name is Romane. I'm 20 years old, and I'm currently studying business at SKEMA Business School in Paris. And where I'm from France, Paris, and I've always lived here. So yeah.
So you know Paris probably much better than I, as this is your home. What is the best and most challenging thing about living in Paris?
Well, I think the most challenging things, I'll start here, maybe is the cost of life, the cost of housing and everything. It can be quite difficult, especially for students, to manage it. And the best thing, I can think of two things. Like, I think it's the beauty that surrounds the city, and that I really like, and the fact that it's a city of art and culture, and these are two things that are very dear to me, that I hold very close to my heart. So yes, these are the two aspects.
Nice. Yeah, those are two of my favourite things about living in Paris as well, and definitely relate to the student challenges of financing a life here, but certainly worth it. So what and where is SKEMA?
So SKEMA is a French business school, a top French business school, and it means School of Knowledge, Economy and Management. Where it is, that's a tricky question actually, because it's pretty much everywhere. There are 3 campuses in France, one in Lille, one in Paris, one in Sophia Antipolis, and there are 4 other campuses, one in China, one in the United States, one in Brazil, and one in South Africa.
Cool. Gosh, you really are everywhere. That's fantastic. So how did the association Open Mind SKEMA come about? How was it founded?
So it's a shame that Daphne isn't here to tell the story, because she would probably tell it better than me. But I'll try my best. So she was in Manchester, and she discovered an association called Open Mind Manchester, which aimed at creating somewhat of a peer support group, peer support scheme in the school. And so she wanted to transport this idea into her studies in France, because she witnessed the lack of just associations that dealt with mental health in schools, especially in business schools. So that's how it came about. And so she started it last year. And this is really the first year that we're doing things and events and communications around the association.
So yeah, you've told us a little bit about Daphne. For our listeners, Daphne is the current president of the association Open Mind SKEMA, and you are the vice president. So how did you become the vice president of the association?
Well, it's really simple, actually. When I first joined SKEMA Business School, I was looking for associations to be part of. And she she published a post on one of our school Facebook pages. And I immediately wanted to join, because it was saying something like, we are an association committed to raising awareness around mental health in the student community. Mm-hmm. So I knew immediately that was something I wanted to be a part of. So I texted her, and we just got along, and here I am.
Cool. And so you're becoming the new president as of September, right?
That's right, and maybe before that.
And so what are your plans as president of the association?
Oh, that's a good question, because I think I have a much I haven't got much time to think about it, and it's something very important to me. So I need to clear my mind and be fully in it. So I think first of all, it's about creating a good team and recruiting new members that are willing to fully commit to this association. It's about just continuing to put effort into organizing events, to just communicate around the subject and to help freeing the speech around this subject in our school. My ultimate goal is that people would talk about their mental health or their mental problem, just as freely as they would talk about how this course or how this teacher is this or that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a brilliant goal and couldn't agree more. It's so important to remove the taboo around mental health, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here at Nightline France as well. So how do you think being a foreign student in Paris might affect some students' mental health?
So thank you for this question, because actually in Open Mind we are more than half foreign students, members of the association, and we very often talk about this subject. And the main issue that came back every time was the loneliness, how they could deal with it, because due to the lockdown, the isolation, it is very difficult to meet people and to meet new people, especially for foreign students that are new here. So in SKEMA, there are other associations that aim at integrating more the international students. And we try to do that also at Open Mind by organizing events such as the talk we had last week with Nightline about just loneliness and how to deal with it and how to not be afraid to reach for help. So yes.
Yeah, and another question that I had was, how do you think that the COVID pandemic has affected student mental health? And how has Open Mind SKEMA had to adapt to COVID and everything that it's brought us?
Well, I think if you want to know the impact it had on student mental health, you just have to watch the news. I think it's everywhere. Maybe not portrayed like it is actually happening, but it's nonetheless important that people are aware that this is happening and that students are struggling with their mental health. I think it's the same thing as for foreign students, the loneliness, the isolation, but most of all, like the fact that we can't go out anymore with friends, we can't spend much time together. We have to find new ways of communicating, of spending time together to enjoy ourselves. So it's mostly a negative impact. I think there's no question about it. But we found new ways, yes, to cope with it, with the isolation. And I think one of the most important thing I learned about myself and my relationships is like the importance of them and how to maintain healthy relationships with people, even in this difficult situation.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's been a really tough year. We've learned a lot, and I think you're completely right. I think communication in whatever way it's been possible this year has been key. And also being able to see the positives, as you say, is really key for all of our mental well-being. And so with that in mind, did you discover any new hobbies or series during lockdown, or any ways of coping over the lockdown period?
Yeah, actually, I don't think it's a new hobby, but I used to play the piano, and I stopped during my studies in preparatory classes, and I really wanted to have time to just practice again and learn new things, and I actually did it during the first lockdown and the second lockdown, and I'm very happy that I could just play again and do things that I love doing. So yeah, there's that. And then, I discovered tons of new series. A friend of mine recommended me Black Mirror that I never watched. So I finally had the time to watch it, like the whole series. And it was really interesting. So yeah, it's like I said before, it's about searching the positive aspects and making the most of it. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well done for getting back into your piano. I completely relate. I really enjoy playing music as well. And I think anything like music or sport that can take your mind off worrying and overthinking about the more challenging things that everyone's going through at the moment is really good. I also got into a lot of series over lockdown. I discovered, I like to think it was partly productive as well as relaxing, because I discovered quite a lot of Spanish series, been trying to learn a little bit of Spanish. So, Las Chicas del Cable was a favorite. And, yeah. And so how did you first come across Nightline then?
Well, through Open Mind, simply, like we were looking for partnership, to develop, to just make our association, more visible in our school and to, just bring more support to students. And so, we had been in contact with Nightline. And so, yeah, that's how. And I knew there was like support line, but I didn't know any names or things like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are several helplines, but perhaps you only recently heard about Nightline and the fact that we have an anglophone and francophone line. And so now that you do know about us and started to collaborate with us, would you recommend the anglophone line to perhaps foreign students around you? As you said, there are many foreign students at your university.
Yes, of course. Of course, I would recommend it to anyone, really, French students as well as foreign students. I think it's what we have been doing at Open Mind, just communicating around our partnership, organizing events, just to let students know that there is this option and that they can take it whenever they want. And it's not something taboo, or it's not, they don't have to be afraid to do so or to feel ashamed to do so. And that's why like the message we're trying to convey at Open Mind.
Thank you. Yeah, no, a brilliant and beautiful message as well. And so when you're in associations, like when we were chatting before, you were saying you're in 2 associations at your university. So when you're in these associations, why do you think it's important to start initiatives and collaborations with other sort of similar associations like us?
I think the first thing is about experience. We are like newborn association. Even if we are really very willing to commit and to do things, we have to have strong basis. And, we don't have them in every domain. Like we have to learn about, the different concepts we are trying to implement, and we have to learn from other associations such as yours. So yeah, it's about sharing experience, sharing like the network also to be able to reach to more students.
Yeah, I completely agree. The more people and perspectives you kind of gain, the more you can learn. So yeah, and share ideas with. So one of my last questions is, what is mental health and why is it important to you?
Well, that's a vast question. I think it's the one we're trying to answer at Open Mind every day. To keep it simple, I would say that mental health is a state of well-being. It's a state of well-being in which you can, it's mostly big words, but reach like the full potential you have and live life as at its fullest. And it's a state in which you can just enjoy things you do and things that are happening to you, and you have the ability to step back and look at life from different points of view.
Nice. Yeah, I really like that way of phrasing it. So yeah, it's really clear to me that you and your fellow students at SKEMA and at Open Mind put a lot of work into supporting student mental health, especially at SKEMA. But what are your goals for maintaining your own mental health during what continues to be a very challenging year for all of us, and during your first year at SKEMA, and what must be a really busy time?
It is indeed. Well, at first I really thought about this question, and I was tempted to kind of lie because I thought that I had to, since I was the vice president of a mental health association. But really no, like I struggle a lot with like my mental health or the way I manage it. I think my mental state is pretty good, but the way I live, like my habits and things like that are not good for it. So I'm trying really hard to focus on it, especially my sleeping schedule. That is quite catastrophic, but I think I'll try to improve it. I think each person has its way to take care of its mental health, its own mental health. Mine is actually to take care of others. It's something that I really enjoy doing and that just makes me feel good. And I think it's really important because by taking care of others, I can have the ability to take a step back and looking at my problems from different point of views. So it's something, yes, that I just really enjoy doing, and that's how I take care of my own mental health too.
Yeah, well, good luck with the sleep schedule. I think that's something that we all struggle with sometimes, myself included. It does have that effect, doesn't it? It's sort of at the beginning of the day, if you haven't slept well, and it has a knock-on effect, it sort of affects everything. But if we can sort that one out, then maybe everything else will run a bit more smoothly. But yeah, I also perhaps need to work on that sometimes. But yeah, fabulous. Thank you so much for that insight.
Thank you. Thank you for the questions and the interview.
You're very welcome. Is there anything you'd like to add while we have you here?
No, I don't think so. I just wanted to thank you for having me here and giving me the ability to speak for your community and for the Nightline Association and for Open Mind. I think it's a really great opportunity for us to have like our first partnership really and be able to do things like that. And I hope it will like help some students around Paris or around anywhere. And really thank you for having me here.
Oh, you're very, very welcome, and thank you so much. So I will say goodbye for now and have a lovely day.
Thank you, Bea.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed that episode. A big thank you to Romane for her honesty and sheer dedication to supporting her peers. Stay tuned for our next episode where Bea will interview Caitlin Burke, a first-year ULIP student and YouTuber. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on our latest content. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nightline France. Take care and feel free to call Nightline if you need to talk. We're here for you.